Hi, welcome to my random ruminations. So, as promised, this week there was going to be a techie day. Today is that day. I'm not going to do an installation guide for the two dashboards that are going into my PCs because really they're just plug and play. But what I will do, because I've been meaning to do this for a long time, is I will show you the innards of my PCs. One of them is kind of interesting, like one of them is actually seriously interesting, and the other, well, a lot of people donated to me. Well, actually, 2 or 3 people donated a lot of parts to me, and that's how I got my gaming rig. So that's what we're going to do today. I'll be back as soon as I get them apart. So yeah, this is the back of my gaming rig, which just to show you the cable management, which is actually pretty good for such a small casing. I also have the back off because I'm going to need a power supply. Anywho, so yeah, that's the back, and in a second I'll show you the front. And this is the guts. So we have a Cooler Master Hyper 212, which is literally the biggest heatsink I could fit in. My HG 7850, and really good graphics card. Even though it is an older graphics card, it has never put a foot wrong for me. Corsair power supply, which unfortunately, well, you can't see because of the lighting, but it's not actually modular, which is literally the only thing I'm sad about with it. In here somewhere is here. This is an SSD, and then I have my games hard drive here, which is a 7200 RPM laptop hard drive. It's a generic one, but it's there, so it works. RAM, I have 6 gigabytes of RAM in here, and that's really about it, apart from the cooler fans, which are all Mistral ones. They're pretty good, I have to say. I've been very impressed by them. The case itself is fantastic. It's a Goblin mesh case, and the airflow through it is fantastic. Even as packed as it is, the airflow is spectacularly good. The only last thing is the motherboard, which is a gigabyte, as you can see, and it's a GA-EX58DS4, and that's a whole lot of numbers that say actually for an older motherboard it's extremely good. So in order, for the SSD, thank you Joseph. For the RAM, the power supply and the graphics card, thank you Claire. For the motherboard and the processor, which is an i7, thank you Rob. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to get my this installed, and when I come back it'll be my editing rig will be on it, and that is a really interesting computer. So back in a moment. Okay, so here we have it. We have our dashboard installed. Pretty blue light. I've got the external eSATA cable connected. It works perfectly. I'm not sure how visible this will be on screen, but we will try. And there we have it, you see. This is my recording hard drive, and as you can see, it opens. I've tested the transfer speeds. They're bang on what they should be for SATA2, so I'm pretty damn happy with that, and it seals up my case, which will improve my airflow. Good times, good times. So I will be back in a moment with my second PC, and actually this is one that I find fascinating. Hopefully you will too. Anyway, back in a moment. And here we have my Lenovo Thinkstation C20, which was donated to me by a friend, but I won't say who because I don't know if he was supposed to do that. Basically what it is a high-end workstation, or at least it was in 2010, which means basically it's still pretty damn good. I mean, okay, it's 6 years old, but this thing is incredible. I can and have rendered 60 frames per second 1080p 1 minute to 1 minute. In other words, 1 minute of footage, 1 minute of rendering. If I try that on my gaming rig, a rig that lets me play almost every game I own at ultra settings, it will take 4 times as long as the footage. This is an amazing machine. So I'll just show you some. I'll be back in a second. So I hear you. It's not open. What gives? Well, that's because this has just got the coolest latching system. I'm gonna have to do this one-handed, so bear with me. So screwless entry, huzzah! And you may notice something a little bit odd about it. What's this? That's obviously your CPU. So what's this? Well, the Thinkstation actually has a second CPU. It's a seriously cool machine. So you basically, at the moment, I just have a load of random RAM in it, all of them more or less the same size, all of them the same clock speed. I'm going to be fixing that in the future. It has a single hard drive and it's a small one because it doesn't need to store much, it just needs to compute. So this machine is all about connecting external hard drives to it, rather than it storing a lot. It runs a NVIDIA Quadro 5000, which is a beast of a graphics card. I mean, just a fucking beast. I am still looking for a second one to set up an SLI connection, an SLI setup, because I want to really bring this as far as it can go. But the thing is, these hard drives on their own, I've seen them for €1,000. I'm not joking, second hand. As I said, it has two separate CPUs. They're 2.67 gigahertz Intel Xeons, the E5650s, and I'm reading that from Lenovo's own website. It will hold up to 48 gigabytes of RAM, 1066 megahertz, which is great because it's not an incredibly expensive type of RAM, which is fantastic. And I do intend to put this up to the full 48 gigabytes. It's a great system, I have to say, and I love this machine. It is just as machines go, this is my bread and butter. This is what makes my channel possible. Because without this, I would do maybe 2 videos a week, because I just would not have the computing power for rendering. So anyway, that's my second PC, and as I said, I think this machine is really interesting. I think it's really unusual. And I actually think it's the most unique computer I've ever owned. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes once I have this yoke installed. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So, back in a few. So here we go again. I have my external recording hard drive plugged into the eSATA and USB pub. I couldn't yet get those hubs working for some reason, and there's a third set for the card readers, which I'm not interested in. I got this exclusively for the external eSATA reader. What am I talking about? And again, I don't know how clear this will be, but it works. My computer, and that's my recording hard drive, and it's all there. So I'm going to spend the next while putting this son of a bitch back together, and as soon as that's done, I will be back. So back in a while. So that's my 2 rigs. I'm really glad I opened up my editing rig, because as it turns out, one of my system fans is after failing, and it's a CPU fan. And a CPU fan failing in any computer is bad. In a dual processor computer, it's really bad. So I scavenged a part from an old PC, and I'm just going to have to go and buy myself a new... I'm actually going to replace all the fans in that, because they're probably due for replacement anyway, and it's not going to cost that much. And then it'll be like a new system. So yeah, that's basically my setup here. I will have more techie stuff in the future. I was just looking back at the pile of projects that I have to go through. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. My 2 external SATA connection points work beautifully. I'm not going to get any recording done today, even though I'd really hoped to. Yeah, kind of sad about that. I'd hoped to just get started on a new series today, but it's just not going to happen. So yeah, that is everything. Anyway, I'll talk to you all again on Sunday. Be good. Bye for now.